Let's take a look at how to use the Varo Android application for creating a cold chain temperature report using the data from a 30DTR logger. So on the screen here you can see the Varo Android application is installed on this phone. Now I'll plug in the 30DTR logger using the USB OTG adapter. This will take just a few seconds for the Varo app to recognize the logger, and then we're shown this screen where the user is prompted to create a report. Press Create Report. The Varo app downloads data from the logger, indicates that the logger can now be unplugged, and the user is prompted to press Continue. On this screen, the Varo app will ask for the facility name, and if possible, it will auto-populate the sub-county, county, and country fields. Those can be corrected by the user if they're seen to be inaccurate. So here we'll enter a health facility name, and at the bottom we can press Continue, but on this page you can also click either this PDF button or the chart button for visualization of the data that was downloaded from the 30DTR logger. So if we press on the chart button here, we can see a temperature chart showing the average temperatures from each of the prior 60 days of data, as well as whether there were any high or low temperature alarms. If we go back to the main page, we can also click on the PDF screen, and we can see the PDF document that the fridge tag itself created. So going back to the report generation process, now that the health facility information is entered, the user presses Continue, and now the app prompts for filling in the health facility in charge name and contact information. So I'll just enter a dummy name and phone number and press Continue. Now it asks for information about the refrigerator. So here is where a few photos can be taken, as well as entering the make and model of the refrigerator. So I'll start with the photo. Here we can take a photo of the refrigerator itself. We can also take a photo of the fridge tag. And we can select the make and model of the refrigerator. In this case, it's a TCW40 STD. And press Continue. Now, as a last step, the Varo app will ask which email should this report be sent to. This is entirely controlled by the user, and this is the only place where the resulting report is transmitted. So in this case, I'm going to use a Gmail account that we will also use to demonstrate the Pogo LT data aggregation application using this report. We can enter any notes at the bottom. These will be populated into the Varo report, and press Send. So what Varo has done is created an email containing all of the data that was downloaded from the logger, as well as entered by the user, and put together an email report that can be sent from the default email client on the user's phone. If we press the Send button in the upper right-hand corner, then it just jumps back to the Varo history screen, and that email report is completed and transmitted. So that's all it takes to create a Varo report that contains data from the 30DTR logger and contains standardized information about the health facility and the location information from the facility as well. Those emailed Varo reports containing 30DTR data will be the most useful if they can be aggregated in a simple way. So let's also take a look at the Pogo LT data aggregation application to see how that works. First, let's take a look at the Gmail account where I sent that Varo report. Pogo LT demo is the account that I sent it to, so let's log in here. So in this email account, we can see that there is a most recent report that was just sent. If I click on that, I can see all of the information that we entered in the Varo application, as well as the photos and report from the 30DTR logger. So what the Pogo LT application will let us do is take all of these emailed Varo reports and process them into a single Excel spreadsheet where all of the data can be analyzed very efficiently. So let's take a look at how that works. If we navigate to pogolt.org, and just press Launch Pogo LT, it will prompt you to sign in with the Google account where you want to process the Varo reports from. So we want to use the Pogo LT demo Gmail account where we just saw that the Varo reports were sent to. We'll continue to accept there. And now we're into Pogo LT, and it will ask for the date range of the Varo reports that we want to process. So here we'll select just the last few days and press next. Pogo LT now asks for the destination email account where we want the report that it creates to be sent. So this will be the spreadsheet that contains all of the data from the various Varo generated reports. In this case, I'm going to use that same Gmail account so that we can see the report show up there, although this can be any email account that you select. The user is prompted to agree to the terms and conditions and privacy policy, and then press Generate Report. Now what Pogo LT is doing is downloading emails from that Gmail account that were created by Varo for the date range that was selected. And so here we can see that there were a total of 4 reports, as we saw in that email account, and it's processed the summary statistics of performance showing the safe time and the excursion time either in an alarm state or in the not alarming state. So now that report has been created by Pogo LT and sent to pogoltdemo@gmail.com. So let's take a look back in the Pogo LT demo Gmail account. So here we see the most recent emails from Pogo LT. If we click on this, we can see the summary report that we were just looking at within Pogo LT. And we'll notice that there are 2 attachments, one of which is an Excel spreadsheet. So let's download that. And when we open that spreadsheet up, we can see that there's a few tabs. On the first tab, the summary tab, are the summary statistics showing how many 30DTR reports were received and the overall thermal performance across all of those reports from those various loggers. We'll see here that there's actually only 3 unique loggers, even though there were 4 reports, and that's where Pogo LT has recognized that 2 of those reports were from the same logger. If we click on the 30DTR Reports tab, we can see the spreadsheet where Pogo LT has processed all of the various Varo reports and shows a single row for each logger, with the worst performing fridges or loggers floated to the top. So here in this first row, we can see the logger that has some alarms shown, and the ones below are showing stable temperatures within the 2 to 8 degrees C range. If we scroll over to the right, we can see alarm count and percentage, as well as overall excursion time and safe time. If we keep scrolling over to the right, we can see the CCE make and model information, as well as facility location information is shown here. And if we scroll all the way to the right, we can see who sent the report. So what this is showing is how with Pogo LT you can take numerous Varo reports and process them into a single spreadsheet so that instead of wondering where the trouble is, you can find the fridges that need the most attention all in one document.